Welcome back to Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood. I'm Magnum Mills, and I'm flying solo this week as Jamie G got stuck at the 19th hole, or at least that's what he's told me. I am here to discuss the 2025 Cognizant Classic. Thank you very much for checking out Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood. We are presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. You can find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF. Same place on the web, seizethegapff.com. Try to keep it easy to remember, just like those flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please make sure that you've hit the thumb. Before we get into the Cognizant, we need to go back to last week and review the results from the Mexico Open at Vidanta. Little bit of a surprise here. We had Brian Campbell taking it down in a playoff against Aldrich Pokegeiter. Not too shabby here. Both of them finished 20 under. Coming in third, we had Isaiah Salinda at 19 under. Tied for fourth, we had Aaron Rye and Ben Griffin, both 18 under. Tied for sixth, we had Joel Damon and Steven Younger at 17 under. Rounding out the top 10, we had Nikolai Hogard, 16 under in eighth. Ashkai Bhatia, minus 15 in ninth. And then we had a tie at 10 between Ryo Histoon, Andrejo Tosti, and Alex Smalley. All of those golfers were 14 under. Couple other notable names here. You dip down, you had Jake Knapp, the defending champion. He finished tied for 25th. Rasmus Hogard finished tied for 34th. The cut line was -2, and one of the golfers with shorter odds, Kurt Kitayama, finishing at -1. More or less, it was the birdie fest we expected going in. The weather didn't get too crazy, so that led to some low scores. Not a terrible surprise to see some lesser-known names at the top of the leaderboard here. Wasn't the deepest field to begin with, and the way it played out on a resort course there, not really shocking to see that this was the result. If you were paying up in DFS, you wanted to definitely pay up for Bhatia and Jaeger. Plenty of money to get to basically the optimal lineup this week, so hopefully they'll stay the same this week. Last week, that worked out for you. If those were your two big dogs out top, that was a very popular lineup structure. So good for you there. Doubt there were many tickets on Brian Campbell to win. If you had one of those, be sure to drop it in the comments. We'll give it a retweet or what have you, because that would definitely be pretty impressive. This week, we have the 2025 edition of the Cognizant Classic. We are at PGA National in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. This is a par 71 golf course playing 7,167 yards. Originally a George and Tom Fazio design with a redesign by Jack Nicklaus. We have 144 golfers in the field. After 36 holes, we cut to the top 65 golfers and ties. This is a $9.2 million purse with $1,656,000 going to the winner. The defending champion is Austin Eckroat, took it down at 17 under last year. I'm flying solo here, so the meteorology duties fall to me. As Jamie G always says, remember to check the latest weather before making any wagers or setting any lineups. We are away from the Pacific coast, but now we are over in Florida. Not insane to see some winds here. It does happen on this track, so you definitely want to keep an eye on that. On Thursday, we have a high of 79 degrees with a 50% chance of some early rain showers, giving way to partly cloudy skies later in the day. High of 79 degrees, not too windy. Looking at winds between 5 and 10 miles per hour. A little bit more of the same on Friday, but drier. Projected high temperature of 78 degrees. Partially cloudy for most of the day. Winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Not too much to worry about there. Similar on Saturday, high of 79 degrees, partly cloudy, winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Sunday is going to clear up a little bit, looking to be a sunny day, high of 78 degrees, winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Overall, not much weather impact here. Again, keep an eye on it. You might not be able to tell the day-to-day stuff. Won't really be able to do too much about it heading into your DFS locks on Thursday to your full round wager locks. But if you're going round by round wagering, you're playing showdown contests, that kind of thing, definitely stay on top of the wager. Perhaps it will be an edge to a particular tee time group on one day or the other. But as of now, looking pretty clean from a weather standpoint. As far as my overall thoughts on the Cognizant at PGA National, I'd like to field a decent amount here, certainly better than last week. Not as good as it's going to be in the upcoming weeks here as we kick off the Florida swing, but I think you have enough options to have an interesting wagering card to make some DFS lineups pretty much whatever the way you want them. Maybe the stars won't be as bright as they usually are in a stars and scrubs build, but I still think that you have plenty of options both at the top and low end of the pricing spectrum. Again, this is the beginning of the Florida swing, so don't be afraid to target golfers who have had success on this in the past. Not all of these courses are exactly the same, but you will see a lot of similarities, especially with the Bermuda greens. Big change from the Poa greens we were playing on for the past month or so on the California swing. Should be a fairly tough event, not crazy tough. I'm figuring a winning score somewhere between, I don't know, call it, the 17 under we saw last year, 12 under, something like that. I don't think you're going to see a 20 under, something major, but I do think the winner is definitely going to be in double digits under par. So just something to keep an eye on. Distance will help here, but it really is a bit of a second shot golf course. You have a lot of dog legs, a lot of setup, a lot of proximity shots are going to be coming in from about 125 to 200 yards. So you really want golfers who are good from that range, very solid with the irons. You also want guys who can scramble, avoid big numbers, especially guys who have had success on Bermuda greens. Looking at all this stuff this week, probably a good week to go ahead take a couple of shots in DFS. I know you like some guys up top, but the ownership gets nice and spread out once you get down below Sepp Straka, and so you can really do a lot of things. You don't have to get too crazy to have a contrarian lineup. Good week to take a couple of shots again in a weaker field on a tougher course where stuff can happen. The lower, the worse the final score is, the more optionality you have to get there. Just takes less points, pretty much simple math. As far as wagering, again, I like the guys up top quite a bit here, but there are some nice mid-range shots, a couple of long shots you can take a look at. So we'll get to that when we get there. But overall, I think it's a nice start to the Florida swing here. The weather looks solid. Should be fun whether you're just watching, you're getting on the DFS, you're doing a couple wagers, maybe all of the above. Let's kick off our DFS picks by talking about who we liked on DraftKings last week. We had our top five plays and a dumpster dive. Number five play was Chan Kim. He was 7,500, finished with 86.5 DK points, tied for 17th. At number four, we had Nikolai Hogard, 8,100, finished with 110 DK points, finished eighth. At number three, we had Patrick Rogers. He was a bit of a core source for us there. $9,500 in salary, returned 85 DK points, finished tied for 25th. Not so bad so far, but unfortunately, it gets worse. At number two, we had Michael Thorbjornsen, 7,700, finished with 29 DK points and failed to make the cut. And most egregiously, at number one, we had Kurt Kitayama. 10,200 on DraftKings, only finished with 35 DK points, and he also missed the cut. Our dumpster dive was Nick Hardy, only 6,600. Didn't do too shabby, but still missed the cut by two strokes. 31.5 DK points. We're not getting it done, even at a salary of $6,600. This week at number five, we're talking about our buddy Bud Cauley, 7,300. We're projecting him for about 9% ownership. He came in sixth in my model, finished 21st here last year. In his last event, he was 21st at the Waste Management. That all seems to track pretty well. The approach numbers are definitely not what I'm looking for here, but he is one of the better operators on Bermuda greens, especially when it comes to scrambling. He avoids big numbers as well as anybody in the field. So if it turns out to be a grinders kind of event, which it definitely could here, that could bode well for him. Don't know that he's going to make my final cash game lineup, but I'm going to certainly be overweight above that 9% ownership level by quite a bit in my tournament lineups. At number four, we're going with Billy Ho, Billy Horschel, 7,900, projecting for about 13% ownership. He came in 12th in my model. He has had some success here. Last five runnings, he's finished 9th, 42nd, 16th, did not play, and 42nd. In his last four events, he's missed the cut, finished 9th, and finished 21st. So a bit of a bob play here, but when you dig into his statistical profile, he might have one of the better blends of everything I'm looking for here when it comes to the approach, the scrambling on the Bermuda greens, the difficult course success, playing in the wind, all those kinds of things. As far as anybody at this price point, you can do better if you're willing to get into that high nine range. But when you're talking about the low eights, the 7K range, he might have the best blend of skills here that I'm looking for of anybody. A guy who will probably make my cash game lineup. He tends to be at his best on difficult courses and or in windy conditions. So that seems to all track well for him here. At number three, we're going with Christian Bezuidenhout, 7,500, only projecting for about 5% ownership. Came in third in my model. Has experience here, but not necessarily the greatest experience. Played it the last 3 years, missed the cut, finished 42nd and 25th. Been a little bit up and down overall. His last three events, he's finished 39th, 4th, and 40th. Once again, not really the approach game I'm looking for, but he is pretty much a god when it comes to Bermuda greens. Good at avoiding the big numbers, good in windy conditions, good on difficult courses. I think he's probably going to be into my primary cash game lineup. Going to have a ton of exposure in tournaments. So looking for a big breakout week from Christian B here. At number two, going back to the well with Sanjay M, $9,800, projecting for about 9% ownership. Eighth in my model. Mixed history here. Last five, he's missed the cut. Finished 42nd, missed the cut, finished eighth, and finished first. Last five overall, definitely a mixed bag. Missed the cut, finished 57th, 33rd, fourth, and missed another cut. Do not think I'm going to have him in my cash game lineup, but he is my tournament special for the week. Absolutely love the projected ownership. His game could totally fit here. If you're getting him at single digits with basically everyone else above 9K in double digit ownership, I think you are in business. He's great in the wind. He's great on difficult courses. He's played very well on similar courses, on correlations where success could be correlated here. A lot to like about Sanjay. Great on the Bermuda greens. The main issue is his approach game has been bad for about a month or so. I mean, really bad. He's lost at least, I think, 4 strokes on approach in each of his last 4 events. But if he can figure that out, he doesn't even have to really gain. If he can just keep doing what else he's doing and just be neutral with his approach irons, I think he will be in shape here. Seems like the kind of perfect guy to take a chance on here. So I am rolling with the Sanjay once again. And at number one, we're going with our guy. He might be the mascot of the show, Shane Lowry, $10,500 on DraftKings, projecting for about 17% ownership. Came in 13th in my model. Great history here. He might be the course horse. Last five runnings, he's finished fourth, fifth, second, 36th, and 21st. Not the best form, but not terrible. Last three, he's finished 39th, second, and missed a cut. Everything but his performance on Bermuda looks absolutely fantastic here. You're getting a slight discount in price from Russell Henley and a slight discount in ownership. I like both of those. So even though I like Henry, I'm going to be much heavier on Lowry this week. And he's a dude who is literally at his best in the windiest of conditions. He's great on difficult courses. He's been phenomenal on courses that are similar or would correlate to success here. So loving Shane Lowry this week. That is the top five. Starting at number five, going from the top, we have Bud Colley, Billy Horschel, Christian Bezuidenhout, Sung J M, and Shane Lowry. We're not quite done with the DFS yet. We still need to check in with Dr. Mantis Toboggan for his dumpster dive of the week recommendation. Definitely a bit of, you got some options in the dumpster this week, but the doctor is recommending we go with Andrew Putnam, 6,900, projecting for about 7% ownership. Looked good in the model, came in seventh for me. No history here, so he is a bit of a virgin, but you assume he has definitely played the course before. So even though he doesn't have experience in the tournament, I'm not terribly worried about it. Another guy, mixed bag, his last 4 events, missed the cut, finished 60. Missed the cut, finished 62nd, missed the cut, and finished third. But when you dig into the statistical profile, great blend of absolutely everything that I'm looking for here. Great in the windy conditions. Maybe not the best in difficult courses, but he is above average, so not going to take anything away. Absolutely great Bermuda player. The recent results definitely are not what I'm looking for, but I have actually watched him play. This is a case where he's missing these cuts by 1 stroke. He's just off, not off by that much. I think the price at 6,900, the ownership about 7%, both look excellent, so he might even make it into my cash game lineup. That's what the doctor has for us. The dumpster dive of the week, Andrew Putnam.
Say, $50 the Smales kid picks his nose. Okay, I'll take it.
Let's move over to the wagering side of things for the Cognizant. Just like with the weather, make sure you're always checking around to get the best odds, the best boosts, bonuses, all that good stuff that they offer these days. We are getting our odds and wagers from the DraftKings Sportsbook, even though we are not affiliated with them. All odds are accurate as of Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. And you should know here on Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood, all of our wagers are in the form of cricket coins, our currency of choice in cricket we trust. Before I give out the wagers for this week, let's look back at what we had on the card at the Mexico Open. As far as our weekly wagers, we had 4 on the card, only took 1 down, missed on Kurt Kitayama in the top 5, Patrick Rogers in the top 10, and Nick Hardy in the top 20, but hit on Nikolai Hogard in the top 20 plus ties. That was plus 180. We had 100 cricket coins on all of these, so we brought home 280 coins on that one. That means we are down 120 coins on the week. We are down 450 coins on the season on the weekly wager, so we have to get into the green as soon as possible. We have 3 weekly wagers this week for the Cognizant. Once again, 100 cricket coins on all of these. Going with a little bit of chalk here. Russell Henley to finish in the top 10 plus ties. That is plus 240. So 100 coins to bring back 340. No surprise, Christian Mizzou now top 20 plus ties. That's also plus 240. So 100 coins to bring back 340. And finally, we mentioned him. He's the dumpster dive. We're going to trust our doctor, Andrew Putnam. Top 40, no ties here. Has to finish inside of the top 40, plus 150. So 100 coins to bring back 250. Last week, we had 2 matchup wagers. We had a tournament group. This means you have to hit the best golfer out of the 5. The group was Grayson Sigg, Michael Thorbjornsen, Ryan Fox, Kevin Roy, and Justin Lauer. We were on Michael Thorbjornsen, but it wound up being Grayson Sigg. Kevin Roy took it down. Both of those golfers finished tied for 17th. And then we had a tournament head-to-head. Just 2 golfers. You have to pick the one who does better. It was Kurt Kitayama and Taylor Moore. We were on Kurt Kitayama, minus 125. He missed the cut. Taylor Moore finished tied for 34, so we missed on that. That means we were minus 200 on the week on the matchup wagers, bringing us into the red on the season, minus 130. So once again, we've got some work to do, but luckily they hooked us up this week. We have some nice options. First up, we have a tournament head-to-head. Once again, 2 golfers come in. You just have to pick the one that finishes higher, that gets the lower score. The options are Brian Harman at minus 115 and Lucas Glover at minus 110. Rolling with Brian Harman here. 100 coins at minus 115 brings you back 187 if he can do better than Glover. Then we have 2 3-balls. The first 3-ball, again, in one of these, you have 3 golfers. You just must simply pick the winner of the 3, the one who does the best of these 3. Options are Daniel Berger at plus 150, Davis Thompson at plus 180, and Cameron Young at plus 180. We're going to go ahead eat the chalk here on Daniel Berger. Putting 100 coins on this gives us a chance to bring home 250 if he can be the low man out of this group at 3. And in our second 3-ball, we have Taylor Pendrith plus 165, Denny McCarthy plus 175, and Ben Ann at plus 185. We're putting our 100 coins down on Denny McCarthy, so 100 coins to bring back 275. And then finally, we have a tournament group. You must pick the golfer who does the best, shoots the lowest score out of these 5. You have Ricky Fowler at plus 320, Billy Horschel at plus 330, Austin Eckroat at plus 330, Andrew Novak at plus 330, and Gary Woodland at plus 360. We're going with our guy, Billy Ho, so 100 coins to bring back 430. That brings us to the parlay parte. Someone called Sinbad, Hector Elizondo. We're going to get everybody in on here. We're doing a necessary roughness thing, and we're getting some parlays down. Last week, we only had one. It was a top 20 parlay, including ties, a 3-legger with Kurt Kitayama, Patrick Rogers, and Jake Knapp. Rogers and Knapp missed paying off by just 1 stroke, but Kitayama missed the cut, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So lost 100 coins last week, down 824 on these on the season. But if you hit one, we can get right back in the green, and we're trying to hit more than one this week. In fact, we have 2 options for you. First up, we have a 2-leg top 20 parlay, including ties. So both of these golfers must finish T20 or better. We have Shane Lowry at plus 115 and Daniel Berger at plus 150. You parlay these 2 together, your odds are plus 437. So a bet of 100 cricket coins brings back 537 coins. Then we have a top 30 parlay with no ties. Leg number 1, we have Denny McCarthy plus 110. Leg number 2, we have Brian Harman at plus 140. And leg number 3, we have Patrick Rogers plus 140. You parlay these 3 legs together. Again, all these golfers must finish in the top 30 without tying. Your odds are plus 1,109. So if you bet 100 cricket coins on it, you would bring back 1,209 coins. Not too shabby. We would be well in the green. That's the goal here. We love cold hard cash, and we love the deep color green, that emerald green, that cash money green. Get ready because it's time to play America's 78th favorite game, Let Me Ride. This is a bankroll contest where we're trying to determine the best approach when it comes to wagering on golf. Do you want to go slow and steady, or do you just want to take a couple big shots and hope to get lucky once in a while? We're doing this, for science, but of course, for some side action, and the winner gets a sweet, sweet prize. The rules of the game are fairly simple. We each start with 100 cricket coins, and it is a race to get to 1,000 coins. The trick is every week you must wager your entire bankroll. If you miss, you go back to 100 coins, you get a strike, you start over again. At the end of the season, if no one has won, if no one's gotten to 1,000 coins, then the winner is the man with the fewest strikes, the winner by default. We do not like that. And if you wanted to try to go the tortoise route, if you can successfully let it ride 7 times in a row, win 7 straight wagers, that's also good enough. But in golf, we have seen that is very, very difficult to accomplish. Last week, Jamie G was building up a little bit. He was up to 310 coins. He put them all on Kurt Kitayama to finish in the top 20 plus ties. Unfortunately, Kurt Kitayama missed the cut, so Jamie G is back to 100 coins. I went even bigger on Kurt Kitayama. We don't know what each other is going to wager before we do it. I took Kurt Kitayama to win the golf tournament plus 2,200. Would have won me the whole shebang, but unfortunately, he missed the cut. That means we are both back at 100 cricket coins. Jamie G has 5 strikes while I have 6, and we both have 0 wins in a row. I have Jamie G's wager here. He's going with something pretty similar to what he was working with last week. He is putting his 100 cricket coins on Sunjay Im to finish in the top 20 plus ties. That is plus 110. So he's trying to turn his 100 cricket coins into 210 coins. I am, of course, going to be more aggressive. I'm going with the doctor, Andrew Putnam, the dumpster dive, top 10 plus ties. That is plus 900. So 100 coins to bring back 1,000. So if Andrew Putnam can finish tied for 10th or better, I win this round. We're doing it again, and I can laugh at Jamie G because he beat me when we do this for football. So it's about time I get a little revenge with the golf. We're almost to the end of the show. That means it's time for our one and done discussion. We're going to start out with our picks for you in your one and done contest this week. Last week for the Mexico Open, we had 2 suggestions. We said no matter what size contest you were in, no matter how big or small the one and done is, you could go with Kurt Kitayama or Patrick Rogers. Of course, Kurt Kitayama got $0 because he missed the cut. Patrick Rogers didn't kill you, but definitely not what you were hoping for here. Finished tied for 25th, brought home $59,350. This week, we again have 2 recommendations. Call it for your standard one and done contest, and then one for those of you who are in a deeper, large field one and done contest. As far as the standard contest, no real surprise here. Had him in a parlay. Daniel Berger and Denny McCarthy, both pretty short odds. Berger at plus 2,500, McCarthy at plus 3,500. Not guys you're probably going to get to very often. Both fit very well here. They will have some ownership, but I think it's going to get spread around this week. Not a huge pot again, a little bit over 1.6 million. Plenty of money to us regular folk, but when you're playing in a golf one and done, and not really going to move the needle too much here, but it would be nice to make up some ground on the leaders if you're trailing, or to keep your lead if you are out in front. And if you are in a large field or bigger one and done contest, why not go with Billy Ho, Billy Horschel? Odds are a little bit longer here at plus 5,000. Another guy that you'll probably consider multiple times throughout the season, but there's no really one spot where you're like, oh yeah, I'm rolling with Billy Horschel this week. If there was, it might even be at a B event or something like that. Really seems like an excellent spot for Billy Ho. So those are our one and done recommendations for the Cognizant Classic. If you're in a pretty standard contest, Daniel Berger or Denny McCarthy. If you are in a larger, deeper contest with more entries, maybe take a chance on Billy Horschel. All that leaves is for us to make our picks for the official Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood one and done contest. Last week, Jamie was eating the chalk with Aske Bhatia. He finished ninth, so he brought back $204,750. Good for you, Jamie G. I went with Patrick Rogers. Again, finished tied for 25th, brought back 59,350. That means Jamie G has 1,012,436 bucks, while I have $746,841, meaning Jamie G is up by 265,595 smackaroos. This week, Jamie G is going with Sepp Straka plus 2,500. Name didn't come up very much here, but definitely a golfer who's in great form. Don't mind him here. I think that's a pretty solid pick. I'm going to go with one of our recommendations, Denny McCarthy, a little bit longer than Straka's 2,500. Again, McCarthy's plus 3,500. Really like him here. I think you're going to struggle to kind of pick the right spot to use McCarthy if you even get to him at all. So good spot to burn him here with a lower person. Kind of a lackluster field to put it nicely. Not terrible. Definitely got worse fields, but he's got a shot here. So we're going with those two guys. And thank you for going with us for your golf entertainment, wagering, DFS recommendations, whatever you want to call it. We appreciate you being here. This has been Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood, presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Once again, you can find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF. Same place on the web, seizethegapff.com. We try to keep it as easy to remember as possible, just like remembering the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please make sure that you've hit the thumb. I'm Magnum Mills on behalf of myself and Jamie G. Good luck this week, and we'll see you at the 19th hole.